Good evening, Hollywood, and the rest of the planet Earth. I returned to my humble abode in Hollywood today after some travel to find a copy of a lawsuit from Facebook forwarded to me from my attorney. Yes, the entity known as Facebook, which 3 months ago halted Anonymous pending trademark registration at the 11th hour with delay tactics, has now filed its official opposition to Anonymous before the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board of the United States Patent and Trademark Office. You see, a few weeks ago, Facebook's lawyers telephoned and offered Anonymous lawyers a settlement. If Anonymous voluntarily withdrew its U.S. trademark application, Facebook would allow Anonymous to exist and to continue doing what it's doing. When I heard that, I immediately suggested a counteroffer. If Facebook stayed out of Anonymous' business, Anonymous would allow Facebook to exist. Actually, our attorneys asked for details of such a settlement in writing, but never got them. Instead, Facebook wanted to drag their heels some more by applying for yet another time extension with the Patent and Trademark Office, a tactic that this time required our consent. But we refused. Basically, I suggested Facebook either or get off the pot, and Facebook dutifully dropped a nasty log in the form of this lawsuit. Essentially, Facebook is protesting that the word Anonymous, along with our tagline, "The face of social networking is now anonymous," was, quote, "without a doubt chosen to call Facebook to mind," unquote. We say, if this is what Facebook actually believes, they should check out a comic book series from the 1980s entitled V for Vendetta, or even the popular movie adaptation of the same name that came out in 2005. In both sources lie the true inspiration for our tagline. I quote from Wikipedia, "The film had been seen by so many political groups as an allegory of oppression by government. Libertarians and anarchists have used it to promote their beliefs. Activists belonging to the group Anonymous use the same Guy Fawkes mask popularized by the film when they appear in public at numerous high-profile events, emulating one of its key scenes. These masks have been seen at Occupy movement events. Famous artist David Lloyd, who designed the iconic mask, is quoted saying, quote, "The Guy Fawkes mask has now become a common brand and a convenient placard to use in protest against tyranny. And I'm happy with people using it. It seems quite unique, an icon of popular culture being used this way," unquote. In an age where the theft of one's online privacy and anonymity are routinely compromised by the corporatocracy for their betterment and for our further enslavement, to wear a mask over one's face online is akin to keeping one's private and sacred matters safe and hidden, to exercising and preserving one's rights, freedoms, and privileges. I'll spare you the monotonous, chest-pounding details Facebook belabors on about in its filed opposition, but certain key points warrant mention. For example, notice Facebook's line, quote, "This is a trademark dispute and nothing more," unquote. We ask, then what more could it be, Facebook? Why state the obvious when you yourselves have filed this suit before the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board? Perhaps it is something more then. To us, such shallow reassurance seems to imply the very opposite through the transparent and banal use of doublespeak. We find it incredulous that Facebook actually alleges likelihood of confusion between Facebook and Anonymous. Visually, Facebook is white and Anonymous is black. As a social network, Facebook lets anyone in and then commercially exploits them by farming their personal data out to shady corporations and shady governments around the world. Anonymous does not. Facebook censors. Anonymous does not. Yes, with Facebook we see sensors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission. With Anonymous, you have the freedom to object and see as you see fit. The way we see things, Facebook is an openly spying data mine employed for the greedy, fascist, totalitarian, and despotic motivations of the 1%, whereas Anonybooks is a sovereign network designed, dedicated, and devoted from its conception to the epic and timeless pursuit and pronouncement of truth. On aesthetic, technical, commercial, and philosophical levels, the differences between Facebook and Anonybooks couldn't be more extreme. Another charge we found bizarre is Facebook's assertion that Anonybooks mark, quote, suggest an affiliation of connection between Anonybooks and Facebook, where none exists, unquote. Really, Facebook? We have made our opinion on Facebook's unethical practices quite public all along, and have never ever suggested by written suggestion or graphical design or otherwise that any affiliation or connection exists. In fact, in the poignant words of one of our council members, quote, the thought of an affiliation with Facebook makes me throw up in my mouth, unquote. Facebook is also complaining that Anonybooks trademark registration will dilute and infringe the famous Facebook mark. We say that Facebook's own apparent modus operandi of data mining, privacy invasions, sneaky sharing changes, hawking of personal information to shady corporations and shady governments around the world and the like will ultimately dilute Facebook's brand. But more importantly, as I understand, Facebook has no trademark on the word book. Thus we have teachbook.com, a social network for teachers, casebook.com, a social network for lawyers, blackbook.com, a network for photographers, artists, and creative professionals, playbook.com, a social network for sports handicap enthusiasts, and so on and so forth. Indeed, supposed dilution of trademark is Facebook's second ground for opposition. Let us once again consider teachbook.com, casebook.com, and the others. Let us revisit common sense. In the same way that each of these social networks appeals to its own caliber of users, Anonybooks seems to appeal to its own, primarily to social, economic, and political activists, those interested in the global corporatocracy and banking conspiracy, those interested in the Michael Jackson conspiracy, and those who simply wish to connect online without worrying about being spied upon or their identity and information mined. The inclusion of book in our network's name no more dilutes Facebook's mark than any of the other social networks that also use book in their respective brand. Facebook's prosecution of its campaign against Anonybooks in such manner is onerous, taxing, and distracting, and Facebook's current strategy against us seems to rely on draining our financial resources with these legal demands. Yet, Anonybooks shall prevail, as all the money in the world cannot kill an idea, especially the idea of anonymity, sovereignty, fairness, justice, and freedom. That said, money can definitely assist an idea, and if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, if you would seek as I seek, and if you are in such a position to financially contribute to our legal fund to defend ourselves against this Goliath, then I ask you visit our donation point, Feed the Elephants, set up on our network at our website, anonybooks.com. With your assistance, I promise you we will give Facebook, and all that Facebook represents, a fight that shall never, ever be forgot.